Hello, Uganda. Good evening and welcome to the show On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. Now, presidential candidates are crisscrossing the country, trying to dazzle Ugandans so that they can give them the mandate to lead. The NRM candidate, President Yoweri Museveni, is today in the Lango sub-region. He has been in Amolata and other districts, gathering residents there, giving them his manifesto, asking for another term of office. The Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi has been in the Busoga region, in Luka, in Namutamba, and Kalido, also telling his version of the story on why he should be the man to take Uganda's #1 job. Retired Major General Mugisha Muntu was in Kampala. Mr. Mabirizi was in Hoima, also trying to tell the people there that he could change Uganda for better. If you look at the manifestos of all these presidential candidates, they look good. They have flowery language. They are promising the best. In fact, if we implement a manifesto of just one candidate, this country could be better. Tonight we'll be trying to look into those manifestos. Are Ugandans even listening? Are they even reading? Are they even bothered to see what kind of promises these people are giving? My guests this evening, all of them, are seasoned politicians, and I'll be introducing them shortly. My guests this evening are men of substance. We have the President of the Conservative Party, the Honorable Ken Luchamuzi, the man. Thank you so much for having honored our invitation, Ken. It's been a while and I'm so honored to see you tonight.
I'm also honored to be seeing you intellectually moving.
Thank you.
I enjoy your programs.
I'm humbled. Thank you so much. We are joined by the member of the East African Legislative Assembly, also a flag bearer for the NRM party, the Honorable James Kakoza. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening.
No, thank you, Mr. Kamara, to give us an opportunity to come and contribute, add something.
Today, I have men of wisdom because of age. You have experience, you have history, you have pedigree, you understand these things. For many years in the field, even before I even came to Kampala, I was following the Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi.
I hope you have read my book.
You're going to give me a copy today.
I should.
Yes. And so you understand, Honorable Ken Luchamuzi, Uganda's politics just like the back of your hand. Today, I happened to be somewhere and then I saw the image being beamed from Hoima of you and your candidate in Hoima.
Joseph
Mabirizi.
Yeah.
Is he conservative?
Yes.
Yes.
He's a member of the Conservative Party. But the picture of the way how you are combing the streets of Hoima for votes looked very humble for a presidential candidate. What do you need to add in some momentum? And because the world runs on perception.
Kamara, we were diverted from the original route. We were supposed to talk to the people from Mandela Stadium, only to be told that that was a forbidden zone. We were taken far away from the scene. Although, much as we were taken away off the guard, we got a following of the population followed us up to the time where we stopped and started talking to them.
So just give us a feel of what the field is like now as you take your candidate around together in looking for votes.
The field is good, especially if you know and if you're conversant with what you're going to talk about. We were particularly going to address the population of Bunyoro over the phenomenon of oil production. And we're telling them that what you are likely to get is peanut, judging from the loyalty we have read about in the Constitution. You are the masterminders of petroleum. You are the people bound to suffer from the scaffolds of petroleum exploration before it becomes a curse. You are the people who is likely to lose your agriculture production in case the fumes damage the vegetation cover. So you should be at the center of beneficiaries so that you don't get peanut. And only the federal formula can rescue you.
I know you are very passionate about the environment. And when you raise those issues, I remember you, the environmentalist, that you always had your voice being heard. So how, as a Conservative Party and Joseph Mabirizi, in your contract with the people of Uganda that you want to sign, what exactly do you want to do?
What we want to do is to tell the people of Uganda that it is not the President of Uganda who gives us federal governance. We can invoke the contents of the Constitution, namely Article 1, Article 178, Article 176, Article 5 of the Constitution, to pronounce ourselves with what we want. Our mission in this particular election is to tell the people of Uganda that we are going to amend the Constitution, and we are carrying with us a petition intending to amend the Constitution so that power is shared between the center and the regions. Part of what we want is already in the Constitution under the regional tier phenomenon, save that people rejected it because of the efficiencies involved.
But let me if I remember very well, in 1994, during the making of the Constitution, there was a prominent son of Uganda, in fact a prince, called Prince Mulondo Beswere, if I'm from China, who actually could have decided for Uganda to have a federal system. A prince at that level said no. But the commoner,
Mulondo.
Yes,
Mulondo.
said no.
Prince Mulondo.
Yeah, if I remember well. I was not yet a journalist, but I was following these things.
I think he was bought, and people can always be bought.
How do you buy a prince?
Yeah.
Which commoner is buying a prince?
People can be bought. Money can persuade any characteristic, any character sketch of a person. You don't have to be peculiar to be bought. Anybody can be bought. And that is exactly what happened, judging from the story I have read.
You know why I'm asking you that is that if a prince at the highest level looks at this federal thing, because maybe we would have said Uganda would have even enjoyed it better. It says no. How about us? But let me hold that for a while so that I can also bring in Yone Kakoza. Before I even hound you with questions, probably bring us to speed on how the NRM campaign has been. I know your candidate is somewhere in Lango.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, we had a social contract with the people, and my candidate is saying we should protect the gains. And what are these gains? In summary, they are based on 4 pillars or fundamentals within systems of governance. 1, how do we keep peace which is sustainable without external aggression and internal aggression, that government can provide a conducive atmosphere, which is the role of government, that people can be happy within that environment. 2, the economic integration, and which I feel that really that's the source and the best important thing in governance, and for any president to assure that what we want to do, the economy, is moving at a stage you want it to, so that we have a self-sustaining economy. And you've heard, my candidate has been talking about everybody being inclusive in the market economy. And this time around, he has really put it to the people themselves that everybody, every Ugandan should get involved in production.
But when you
see, even when he gives those programs, which we have in the manifesto, PDM, operational recreation, and the indicators are showing that something is happening, not as it was before. Because when you look at now the poverty levels, from 2015 up to today, 2025, we are at 27, but now we are at 19%. When you look at the agro-processing, production, factories. The poverty levels have come from, you see the people who are involved in the inclusive economy, from all those programs. 5 years ago, to almost approximately 5 to 10, the people who were involved in agriculture, and they were almost 67%. And they were out with subsistence.
But let's look at the reality.
Now, the reality is 33%.
Honorable Kakoza, let's look at the reality. In fact, I'm going to use your statement and the campaign slogan of protecting the gains. If we talk about you as a member of parliament, as a minister, yes, you want to protect your gain.
Yeah.
If we talk about the president who's been around for 40 years, and I'm told he used about 2 billion shillings every day in his campaign, yes, he wants to protect the gain. If you're talking about the 450 or 500 members of parliament who are having fat salaries, yes, they want to protect the gain. But go and ask the people of Kampala, some of them wallowing in poverty. Go and look at the institutions that are broken down. No, they don't want to protect them. Look at the corruption that is happening. No, it doesn't need to be protected. Look at the shoddy work that is done in public works. No, it shouldn't be protected. Still, there's a lot that shouldn't be protected. The gain to protect is for you, the individuals who are enjoying the public resources. Yes, we can understand that.
No. The public expenditure is not an individual issue. The public expenditure, it goes to infrastructure. It goes to development of infrastructure. You can tell him today I've been leading the facts in every district. We have almost 144 districts in Uganda currently. But most of them, almost 80 to 90%, they have got secondary schools infrastructure. I mean tertiary education.
I want to bring in here.
Technical vocations.
Let me bring in here the Honorable Chamuzi, because I can imagine there are people who would want to turn the arc of history, things to go very different, whereas you want to protect the gain. People are saying we don't want to protect the means. For you, it is a gain. For some people, it's pain.
Yeah.
No. You must assure when you're a candidate. You must assure what you've done.
Can I say something?
What are you going to do?
Okay.
Let me finish my point. A manifesto is the social contract with the people. If you look at 2001 up to 2005, you must explain the population.
Okay.
You tell them, this time I came from here, I'm here.
Okay, Honorable.
I'm going from here if you give me a term to do something.
Yes, Honorable
more.
Kakoza.
That's why the president is saying we must see where are we. Where have we come from? Where are we and where we want to go? And the population, if you are really a candidate, you must explain to the population.
So, Honorable Kenlo Chamuzi, are they protecting the gain or increasing the pain?
Honorable Kakoza, I'm perplexed by the defense you're putting forward. First of all, the mechanism Mr. President is using to govern Uganda is too expensive to stand the test of time. And I don't see any gains apart from the losses I'm seeing. How can you run a population of a country with a population of 45 people?
45 million.
45 million people. And a very expensive mechanism. You went to Ruero to make sure that you minimize the costs of running government so that the people can have medicine in the hospitals. It is the contrary. You are talking about gains which don't exist on the ground. So the mechanism President Museveni is using to run government is too expensive and is bound to not to take us anywhere. Look at the cabinet. Why run a cabinet of 82 ministers? Why run parliament of 550 MPs? Why run a government of 600 RDCs? Why run a government with so many tentacles of defense and security? You are just joking. Time is not on your side to pray about with government. That is why we in the Conservative Party think that the time is now for government to be shared, the responsibilities, services, to be shared between the center and the regions. When we talk about independence, it is now over 63 years since we got our independence. Not so, Kamara? Yeah. I'm telling you, the basis of judging how we have gained from our independence should be dependent on how functional local government is. Under the local government existence in Uganda, what are the gains? Can the district on which government is based, can the district check corruption in the State House? The focus should have been from the village, Muluka, Gombolola, to the district, up to the region. If we were to enjoy our independence, the local government mechanism should be able to devise a mechanism of practically checking corruption at the State House. That is why under the federal phenomenon, the power in the region can check corruption in the State House. But the power in the district does not, because it lacks autonomy to do so.
You know, he's raising a very important issue, Honorable Kakoza. If you look at the size of our government, you know, probably the biggest parliament in south of the Sahara, a bloated cabinet, some people would say even incompetent, RDCs that sometimes are too many, and some of them are even too partisan in this kind of election. Are these the gains? To some people, that's the pain.
No. If you look at the Constitution, as he said, he's aware of it, and he was the framers of the Constitution. What does Article 179.4 say?
I was not in the CA.
You were not in CA. 179.4 says, once the power demand to create more units, that the people who want that service, the government has nothing to do to it. You are talking of 552 constituencies, 144 districts. Who demand this?
No, do you know what is happening, Kamal?
No, let me finish
the
my
weaknesses.
Let him conclude. Honorable Kakoza, yes.
You see, I think I read the book of Professor Nzimambi. He said a political cost cannot be quantified, and democracy has never been cheap, and the governance has never been cheap. People who are demanding all these services, depending on geographical, they want services near to the people. And that's why they are local governments. I don't agree with my brother that there are no accountability committees in the districts. They are there, parks are there. But the challenge is, which I can agree with him, that corruption should be dealt with. And I agree, because we are there is a lot of outflows, the leakage of government money. And it's not a government only. It's all of us. It's all of us. We must put up a fight against that cancer. Nobody is happy about corruption. I agree with you. But who are these people who are there? His son, his brother, your sister. They're the people doing all this. So it's not only for government to fight corruption. When I was in training in USA for anti-corruption methods, one of the professors said, yes, even if you are Honorable Kennedy Chams, you are seated there, and you think and do a different contract to what is supposed to be, also that is corruption in monetary terms. So I agree with you that we have to put up a fight through government, processes, laws, and we fight a moral decay.
You know, what is
that moral decay,
intriguing?
I don't agree with it.
What is intriguing, Honorable Kakoza, I don't think you have the will, you have the gravitas, or even the capability to remove the integrity deficit that is in the government. Because President Yoweri Museveni, when he came to power almost 40 years ago with a 10-point program, point number 7 was fighting corruption. It has only increased.
Yeah, human beings change.
Yes, but then it shows that the NRM government under President Yoweri Museveni is not capable of stamping out the evil of corruption, because if for 40 years, you identified it 40 years ago, today it has only increased. How can we believe that actually you can fight it?
My brother, let me tell you about human beings. The generation of the Kennedy Chamses and your generation, don't expect it to come back in this society. No way. The Gen Zs of today, they are they are looking at things in a different perspective. That's why I can talk about politics.
But the Gen Zs are not working with you.
But you see,
let me finish my point.
Okay.
What I'm saying, why it's serious, the moral decay, even those who are coming today, the difference is there. Them, they are not minding about where the country can go. No. Them, we are thinking to deal with the case today, where they can eat from. You look at the commercialization of politics. You go to the population to appeal to them, they said, please, Kennedy Chams, if you don't have a coin, you are talking sense, we've heard you, but we want something.
Hold on to your point, Honorable Chamzi.
yes, I'm happy to note that Honorable Kakoza finally agrees with me
On corruption.
that you need more autonomy to check corruption, and you cannot effectively check corruption under district. He agrees with me, and I'm happy to hear that. But the most important point right now, the mechanism under which we are acting in government is the source of discontent. The president many a time does things which are not checked. His orders are not checked. They should have been checkable under parliament, but parliament is docile. And I think Honorable Kakoza can agree with me. During the time the two of us were in parliament, those were different times in regard to how parliament would exercise its responsibilities. We are in the dark as we speak. The orders that are taking a lot of the taxpayers' money are not checked. And I think he will sympathize with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
including the orders.
Gentlemen, hold on to your point, Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi and Honorable James Kakoza. We're going to take a break, and on the spot, we'll be right back.
So many colors, so many shades of excitement. It's Plascon Paint and Win, the Colors of Excitement edition. Simply buy Plascon Paint worth 100,000 shillings or more. Get a scratch card. SMS the code to 7197 for a chance to win exciting prizes. 1 million shillings daily, tuk-tuks, borders, instant prizes, and an additional shell 3 million shillings weekly. Catch the Paint and Win TV show every Monday at 6:55 p.m. on Bukade One, NBS TV, and Sanyuka TV. Terms and conditions apply. Plascon, color your world.
Tomorrow night.
Players who said, I know a lot. I am going to win 250,000 Uganda shillings. What does a meteorologist study? B. What is a third?
Tomorrow night.
You're my protector, nothing can break us. I trust in your deliverance, your hand is greater. Lord, I declare provision and favor.
Tomorrow night. On the next episode.
Katerina was with us in our house. She was working for us. I don't want her to get hurt.
Just like a real friend.
It was all lies. She even arranged to meet with Stavrianos to close the deal by herself.
He wants to cut you off from everyone, don't you see it?
Were you eavesdropping?
Officer Makris came to me the other day.
What?
What is going on, Dimitri?
When something's wrong, I come straight to you and say it like I'm a child. You found a way to make me feel better. Like you always have the right answer.
I don't always have the right answer for everything. I wish I did.
I don't want to disappoint you. But Pavlos betrayed you as well, Olga.
What do you mean?
Do you know where Katerina is right now? She's working at his house.
On the next episode.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guests tonight, we have the Honorable Ken Luchamuzi, who's the president of the Conservative Party. We also have Honorable James Kakoza, who is a member of parliament in the East African Legislative Assembly and the flag bearer of the NRM for position of the elderly in parliament. You know, Honorable Ken Luchamuzi, you're passionate about the environment and the federalism. But also, in this election, you're meeting a man who has his record. record of trouncing the opposition for many years. You're meeting a man who has given 100 million to every parish in Uganda for the last 4 years. You're meeting a man who has paid fees for primary and for secondary. You're meeting a man they have called Mr. Security. That's a record is hard to beat. Isn't it?
Yes. Whatever you're saying, elaboratedly, ends on a very bloody spot. The spot of implementing orders which are not checked. All that you have said is suffering from the malady of and lack of checking a checkpoint. And it is the cause of our present crisis.
If you go to Rubaga and Kabula and Kyenjojo, where I come from, and people have money in their pockets at a village level, that is something unprecedented in Uganda that has come direct into their pockets. If anything, you could even say, like today, people have a common slang, Kawedemu. It's over. It's over, Ken.
No, the people understand. Don't celebrate where celebrations are non-existent in reality. The people, you go, take trouble to go to the villages and see the suffering at the ground. There are many people who die when they should not have died because there is no hospital medicine. Almost in every region.
I don't want to speak like an NRM ideologue because I am not, but I want to speak as a realist because you just come from Bunyoro. Bunyoro is perhaps the most tarmacked region in Uganda. And perhaps they didn't even have a single tarmac road before 1986. Bunyoro now has an international airport. Bunyoro now has a wonderful stadium. Bunyoro is punching above the weight. How do you tell the local Bunyoro, because you've just been there with you and Joseph Mabirizi, that you can actually usher in a better alternative? By the way, are you in it to win it?
Yes, we can win it in a different dimension, far from what you anticipate. For example, we wanted to tell the people of Bunyoro that don't celebrate. You are about to harvest your oil at your disadvantage, and at a time when you have already been bought out. First of all, how much do you expect to get as beneficiaries from the oil production? In a situation where you don't have any viable formula for distributing, sharing those resources. It is only the federal phenomenon that would afford to bring you a formula for equitably sharing those resources. What is stated in the Constitution in the form of a royalty is peanut, and this is what you are going to suffer from. Much as that is so, there is also another big disadvantage. Fumes of petroleum are dangerous. In the event that the oil becomes a curse and the fumes damage the agricultural processes, you are already out and you will not have invested in anything viable. And the people of Bunyoro celebrated when they saw us because they had heard about the echo we had put forward, namely that Bunyoro's oil production should not proceed until they have addressed the dangers of oil production vis-a-vis the benefits the people concerned should have got out of the oil exploration.
So is that what you call celebration? I just saw you like
a
lone soldier on the streets of Hoima.
They were very happy that we had come to open their eyes about what is likely to happen.
Okay. You have a point,
but Mr. Kamara, one of the best experts we have, I think, was Kabagambo, who has been involved in in oil exploration. If I echo his words, he said that Uganda's oil is not going to have a curse because one of the measures that put on that natural resource, there are some laws of investment of that money that has been put across. Not ever any single country in Africa that have the best laws to govern the resources which comes from oil. And really honestly speaking, if we speak of reality, you come from that side of Bunyoro. The way development is taking place in that place, do you think they are not benefiting? And how do you convince people when they have mentioned all that development you have there and you say they are not benefiting? I think, let's be honest. You know, there is what we call political holiness. Be honest and say no, though it's ABCD, but totally to say that there is nothing those people are going to benefit is totally wrong. Whereas you are seeing now the development. And where we are economically, if that oil starts going to the national treasury, I think most of the people, this country is going to change a lot in terms of development. If now the GDP, the gross domestic production, is going at $69 billion from the last 10 years, what do you expect when you get oil? Your natural money. Two, you've asked a very pertinent question, and which also I don't agree with my brothers and sisters. We should, as Ugandans in politics, discuss issues, not personalities. For me, I want to hear any candidate, for instance, like health strengthening systems, which touches somebody from the village up to Mulago. What policy do you have? Alternative policy.
But let's look at the government of the day.
Yeah.
When it comes to the health sector, especially in the fight against AIDS and HIV and AIDS, 80% or 90% of that work has been left for donors. How can you leave?
No.
Yes, it's the American government has been putting in money.
It's not true. I was a Minister of Health. Do you know that there is a factory now? Let me tell you. Do you know that there is a factory?
How much money are we putting in the sector of HIV and AIDS care?
I can
vis-a-vis the donors.
No. What was the rate before we started the quality chemicals industry?
What I can tell you is over 80% of the money in
I was
the care.
Ministry there. It was a deliberate effort. Even the world, this world organization had refused to give us a certificate. But when we got the manufacturing of the AIDS drugs, the percentage, the prevalence reduced down. It's here in Ruzira. Government had to take a deliberate effort. Two, I want to add something which people talk about as I call it for loud talkers. Today, if you look at the statistics of Minister of Health, 10 years back, how many people were we losing at a birth rate, at a mortality rate, up to compare today? How many diseases have been eliminated if there are no drugs in the hospitals? Look at malaria. 2007, malaria prevalence was about 25%.
What I know, the reality is we are all in perpetual vulnerability. If anybody falls sick in Kampala, and God forbid they take you in any of good medium hospital for just a week, Honorable Kakoza, you'll even sell your land. That even the members of parliament sometimes will even do the car washing, because medical care is, the medical bills are so high that even the rich cannot afford. They can't. You are lucky if, God forbid, if you fall sick, maybe the government can evacuate you to India.
The medical bills on what type of disease?
It doesn't matter.
Non-communicable diseases all over the world.
Honorable James Kakoza.
No, non-communicable diseases all over the world are expensive. But the diseases which are very preventable.
No, it's extremely expensive for somebody to access medical care, even in the private.
On what type of diseases?
Even if you go to malaria.
No, malaria. Come on.
Please.
Yes.
I think the Honorable Kakoza is just.
If it's a non-communicable disease, I can agree with you. If it's a non-communicable, but these diseases which are preventable, come on.
Honorable Chairman.
Yeah, the circus of oil production is worrying. Honorable Kakoza is expected to know that the oil content we are talking about is supposed to be waxy. and the wax materials and the process of piping can be extremely expensive. 2, Honorable Kakoza should know that the determination of whether we would have a refinery in Kabare has been a source of discontent in many circles. Many people thought that knowing that the Albertine Graben is the source of our basic tourism endeavors, including the need to protect endangered species, which bring in a lot of money in terms of tourism.
It's an ecologically sensitive area.
Yes, ecologically sensitive area. Many people had wanted to discard the phenomenon of refinery formation in the area because of the danger likely to face wildlife in that part of the country. But as if that was not enough, the process of whether we would have a refinery was not done in proper procedure according to the rules of the game. Ingini Kabagambe Kalisa you are talking about was the former
PS.
Apparently he was the one who chaired the session that determined whether they would have a refinery or not. There was no equity. He was not supposed to be the moderator of the game. There was supposed to be an independent body to carry out the environmental impact assessment and then subject the same results to a public hearing, as is commonly done. All that was jumped for reasons not known. I also want to put it to Mr. Honorable Kakoza, because he's an insider. How come, as we speak now, literature has already saturated all over the world that Uganda is one of the countries that sells crude oil?
No, it's not true.
Yeah, it has been published. We would like to know whether the reality is about it.
It's not a reality because...
That you are selling crude oil?
No.
Without the knowledge of Parliament?
It's not true because you remember this, you've mentioned the oil refinery. You know the history of it. People wanted to take oil and we get a peanut till the president and those Kabagambes and experts said, no, we can borrow money, put up a refinery and get our oil and benefit from it. They wanted the barrel to process it, take it to Mombasa. And each barrel, if it could cost 100 shillings, I'm giving an example, we could get only $20. Till the president said, we can get investors in this refinery, so that instead of losing $80, we can lose like 20, and we pay the debt. That was an investment. And two, in addition to that, I want to confirm, and the Honorable Kenneth Chams, according to the accountability laws and that resource of money, of natural resource, how it's going to be invested, there is a clear, proper investment law with that natural resource. No. So there is no way, and even if they get that natural resource to be sold, the money goes to the treasury.
Those who are opposed, Honorable Kakoza, if you could be good enough to listen to me for a minute, those opposed to the institution of the refinery had some very outstanding points, namely that Uganda's geographical location of the oil was too narrow to accommodate the fuss that would become a catastrophe in the course of production.
But the investors who invested money,
well knowing that the production of oil expires after a particular period, as opposed to the protection of the environment, which maintains the ecological order of wildlife endlessly until the world comes to.
You know,
for a businessman.
If I can add on what Honorable Ken Chamuzi is saying, I want to bring an example of a country that is technologically advanced. There was an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. I think President Trump now wants to call it the Gulf of America. In the Gulf of Mexico, I think they call it the Macondo spill. It all literally brought America to its knees. because they could not control it. If that spill happened in the Albertine, on Lake Albert, because sometimes you are going under. If America was almost brought its knees by the Macondo spill, what will happen in Albert? How are we prepared to stop that kind of spill?
No, the people who put up all those technologies and whatever, and those who
on top of that, before he answers, there is another scuffle that has threatened the oil production arrangement of petroleum, and it is about the Murchison Falls National Park. It is said that there are over 130 oil wells in the national park. The oil wells, in one way or the other, have direct connectivity with Lake Albert. It is assumed that if oil production in the Murchison Falls is not carefully addressed, the process of extracting oil could affect the power area of the falls, which are behind the production of hydroelectricity.
Let's not anticipate.
No, it is not anticipation. These are realities.
Let me finish.
130 oil wells.
The people who are investing money there.
Under the Murchison Falls National Park.
For me, the people who are invested money there, and the people who are doing that, these are real gurus in oil exploration. Total Energy is there. But what I know, that the external invisible hand have been trying all the time, not to make that exploration successful. The history, you had it, you saw when Kabagamba was saying that these people, it was discovered that in that place, oil was discovered in 1925. They kept the report. They kept quiet. In 1955, it came back. The colonials kept quiet. Not until they discovered and we trained the experts in that to go and study and come back. When we are starting that process of exploration, how many people turned around? They want to discourage the government to do it. But where we are now, those preventive measures, the research, the study has been, and I don't think that this Total company or other energies who are investing in there, they don't.
Okay, let me hear you from the issue of the policy of the local content, because you can invest $20 billion in the Albertine Graben in the oil and gas sector,
yes.
But then all that money goes back to France or China. How are we prepared?
No, there is a law we passed in the House.
Yes, but first of all, we're dealing with something that is technologically advanced. We're dealing with something that needs colossal sums of money. How many Ugandans are going to partake of this $20 billion investment so that the money just doesn't hit the account and goes back to Beijing or to Paris?
No. First of all, there is a law that when you come into investing, the local content is there. In that law we've passed in investment code. 2, all those people who are bringing money, they are partner with the government. That's why that oil is under NOC, the National Oil Company of government. It has shares there. So it's under scrutiny by the government to know. And even in that law, I remember, we said that anybody who comes in with money, there are some jobs which don't need expatriates. Like you Kamara come to Kampala to work, you put up a company, you bring the people of them to come to Kampala to do that. There are some jobs which were
okay.
For the local content you're talking about.
Honorable Ken Luchamus, you seem to be very opposed to the oil sector, but what I want to know from you, when you look at those other countries that sometimes do not want Uganda to develop her resource, right now the Europeans are even drilling in the Arctic. The Chinese are still running coal mines, and the Americans. The fossil fuel is still a big industry. Fracking is going on in the United States today. Would you say that Uganda shouldn't develop her resource, yet the rest of the world is doing the same?
The point is, you remember at a particular time when the president released the news to the effect that the Murchison Falls would be surrendered for electricity production. That's when I came in to start writing about the Murchison Falls in the Monitor newspaper almost after 2 weeks. The point was that much as we would like to harvest oil from that region, there are so many scares that could undermine the status quo of nature to our detriment. And many proposers were of the view that possibly it would be better for Uganda to concentrate on the utilization of crude oil other than endeavoring to put across a refinery which would end us with many catastrophes.
But I'm told there's no flaring, there's no making of noise like the old technology they used to do. So I'm told the best of technologies of the world in oil extraction are being applied in the Albertine.
There was a big fundamental worry which the government of Uganda and the experts concerned have never answered. When I brought the news that there are over 130 oil wells under the Murchison Falls, which directly links to Lake Albert and Choga, there were fears that if we did not take the steps we were taking biologically, would end up destroying the infrastructure of hydroelectricity. And that worry, which I presented in an organized seminar,
so they are tampering with the hydrological system, that's what you're saying?
In Makerere, nobody answered it up to now.
But
so who is the Honorable Kakoza to say that our fears should not go beyond what we are trying to make sure?
But Mr.
If I were you,
Kamara,
Honorable Kakoza, I would have said we should intensify the research, exhaust it, and see so that we make sure that we don't undertake a program that would become a curse.
Of course, by the time they come to that, Honorable Kenneth Chams, to draw a pipeline from where it is to go to how many kilometers to Dar es Salaam, the researches are there. And what you are talking about,
the other side, the other way.
What you are talking about actually is under study. But the one which is now in Bunyoro, which they are near, which is going to bring oil, it's already done.
You mean the Tilenga?
Yeah. Because all the companies which have invested there, the government of Uganda put in money there, and don't think they are doing it. They are experts.
The government is putting money, but the people of Bunyoro are spectators in the process.
But they have told you.
No. They should know every detail regarding oil harvesting.
No. If you put an airport there, what does it mean economically to a local person?
They don't even know what they are likely to get as a region.
Please.
Suppose you undertake.
Can I explain what?
Suppose you undertake a program which eventually will kill the agricultural practice of the kingdom.
No. Those are the external forces which has been influenced.
But the question
they were saying. Let me tell you. European Union was telling Uganda not to explore its own natural resources, that there is pollution, there is what. But the the emissions from African continent is 0.2. But for European Union, its emission is about 25%. So we must, all these things we are talking about, the people who are dealing with that work, and I don't want what Honorable Kamara you've said is true. You can't put tarmac on the roads, people to sell their goods through that road, and you think a local person is.
But anyway, the tarmac roads are there. Bunyoro is the most tarmac region now. But what are they transporting?
Of course, that's why he's telling you. The president said that please, everybody, each in Uganda, get involved in processing.
To what extent?
In production. If you say that you have a tarmac road from there up to Kampala, and really you must know now what are you going to process when you have all that environment to you.
They are secret.
That's why he's saying, that's why PDM you've talked about, they have almost supplied 5.5 trillion. And the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they are the springboard to these big companies.
Okay,
that's why the poverty level and the people who are involved in the economy now, in the money economy, inclusiveness, the rate came from 67% to 33% where we are. Support the add more.
Honorable Kakoza, Honorable Chambers, gentlemen, hold on to your points because we're going to take a break, and on the spot we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guest tonight, I have Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi, who is the president of the Conservative Party, and also have the Honorable James Kakoza, who is a member of the East African Legislative Assembly, and of course an NRM member. You know, we have looked at the issue of corruption. We have looked at the issue of the oil and gas. But gentlemen, if you may, Uganda's human rights record is not a good one. How would you rate it, Honorable Ken Luchamuzi?
Before I do that, just to conclude the remarks on the oil production sector, judging from what I saw when I went on site, I urge the people of Bunyoro to ensure that they invest in the Conservative Party so that you have some MPs belonging to CP will fight and advance your concern on oil production.
That's a campaign.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. We are in that season. It is that time of the year.
That's okay.
Yeah, but really, Honorable, with all respect, Honorable John Ken Luchamuzi, with your presidential candidate Joseph Mabirizi, what is the game plan? Do you see yourselves that you'll be taking over Uganda's #1 job come January 2026?
Do you know what happened in Ghana? During that surprising election, they never expected the change they saw at a very critical time when they were moving towards democratic governance. So anything in Uganda can happen. Everyone is at a standstill. Governance is at the crossroads. Do you know why many people picked papers for the presidency? Over 200 people applied, wanted to become...
That's the democracy.
Not necessarily democracy. Right. It was a demonstration that there was a crisis in the governance sector of Uganda. And everyone wanted to provide an alternative. And it was his or her right to do so. There is a crisis about governance in Uganda. Everything is at a standstill. Things are becoming too expensive for no given reason because of bad governance. What do people do? For example,
you've been almost like a lone soldier in the Conservative Party for many years.
Yes, it does not matter for as long as I keep on.
A lone voice in the jungle.
Jesus was one also a lone voice. But see the impact he made worldwide. Even changed the calendar chapter all over the world. The human rights aspect is also at stake. I don't know what Uganda will say in the United Nations General Assembly going on right now. Just sometime back, the Geneva Human Rights Office made a clarion call to the Uganda government that the incarceration of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Rutale were out of order, were illegitimate, and they expected action to have been taken. Nothing has taken place. Good enough, Uganda has not yet given a speech in New York. So when the representative of the president goes to New York, she stands warned that she must answer the query and the concern of the Geneva Assembly on human rights in Uganda.
I think the vice president has already been at the UN.
Has she spoken?
I think she did.
She did.
Yes, I think she did.
Yes, she did. She went
but
there.
She has not returned yet.
No, she's here.
She's here.
She's here.
Yes.
I am surprised.
I
am surprised that nothing was mentioned about
Mr. Kamara.
Yes.
I think people now should understand where this country comes from. And we must know, all of us, that governance is not for government only. It's even for the people to get included, to be involved in the partnership of leadership. And people who think that leadership is just general happiness, I think they are getting it wrong. We are in these campaigns. He said how many people are coming to see because there is a leadership gap. I don't agree with him. Because the only country now which still has people to given a chance to choose their leaders from LC1 is only this country. I was in Tanzania, they are campaigning, they are going to vote for. I moved from Namanga, Arusha up to...
Namanga at the border?
At the border between Kenya and you cannot find any photo of another contestant.
The campaign poster? But what do you expect?
And you have about that?
No.
But what do you expect?
About it. But then they have their history.
Tindulusi is in prison.
No. They have their history. So you have to guard the history. I think it was Mkapa. You were in Parliament. You were there in 2005. When Mkapa said, okay, fine, you want to copy democracy from out. But please, you must know, each every country must know its history. And when you're a leader, you must provide a solution.
I had an honor of hosting, he was on that very chair, the Honorable Tindulusi, the opposition leader of Tanzania, on this very show a couple of months back. When he tells you what happened, how he survived an assassination attempt, how they pumped in him 16 bullets, how he's been gagged, how his people have been arrested, how human rights have been trampled upon in Tanzania. Unfortunately, the world does not understand Tanzania because who follows the Swahili media? If it wasn't because it is within, they are having their own issues. But because it's largely 99% Swahili media, who is going to follow?
Of course, for us, for ours, we do agree with constructive criticism. That's why when these people, the opposition said, when they talk, we listen, they check us, and that's why there is a bit of openness. They allow anybody to do anything. But also, I want to tell people that even if you are given a chance, you are free to talk anything, but there is a limit you can go to. Most of the people who are doing those things are provoking government.
Provoking,
yes. Mr. Kamara, there is a saying, was it for Shakespeare? He said, please, if you don't want bees to come in your compound, don't plant flowers there. Otherwise, the bees will continue coming. So please, in these elections, let's discuss issues that concerns with the population. How do we go about solving their problems, and what policies can we provide to help them? Because
Kamara,
you see, most of the people...
One at a time, gentlemen.
Mr. Kamara.
Most of the people are saying government has brought poverty.
Mr. Luchamuzi?
I think my friend, Honorable Kakoza, is losing a touch with the issue we are discussing. My argument is that because of the failure to govern Uganda according to the standards required, President Museveni finds himself spending too much money of the taxpayer because most of what he administers is not checked. I want him to answer that.
Why is it not checked?
It is not checked.
Why? We've got so many laws.
Many laws are passed through bribery.
We have got IDD, we've got audited.
Many laws are passed in Parliament through bribery.
No.
Yes.
No, that's...
Yes.
Look, did they bribe you in 2003 when we were passing Accountability Act?
That time was quite different from what is happening now.
No, that's what I'm telling you. You were there. The laws are there.
No.
The Accountability Act is still working.
What I'm saying, Honorable Kakoza, maybe because you are in Arusha, you don't know what is happening in Uganda. A lot of what is being administered as orders is not checked. What? And the government inevitably has to spend so much money to enforce it. Answer that.
How? How when the laws are there? When the people
see what happens.
So what he's trying to say, we have I can hear what he's saying. We have institutions of government. You have the Auditor General. You have the Inspectorate of Government. You have all
police. You've got anti-corruption courts.
And then Public Accounts Committee, which are actually in the hands of opposition parties.
Exactly.
So why can't they do the job?
See how our Parliament is operating.
Yes.
Look at Parliament. related to what our parliament was during our time. Refer to what happened recently at the Kororo Independence Ground. The amount of money splashed here and there in billions. What is that situation telling us?
The primaries of NRM?
There is a crisis in Uganda about governance.
Some people have money.
No, you can't say that, because must you deploy this kind of money into the election where people are lining up and somebody's giving them? In fact, even
for me,
is that what you call because of
bribe? That's corruption. Of course, you are talking the same thing.
There is a crisis.
Because corruption, any action taken with a selfish interest, it's wrong. But what I'm trying to say, that the laws are there. The government has established all avenues to cover that. You can't tell me that there is nobody who checks what the president.
Okay, just to change the gear a little bit, I'm impressed and happy to see that so far the campaign is moving on well. It is smooth and looks like so far the ground seems to be leveled. I don't know whether that's what you've been able to see, but at least we are not hearing bullets being fired and people being beaten and tear gas all over. Honorable, could this be the calm before the storm?
Well, we are just at the preliminary level. I hope it lasts.
We pray it lasts.
We would like to see a clean campaign program. But are we going to see it? What I saw in Bunyoro when I went with Mr. Mabilizi speaks for itself. We were commissioned to pass at a certain area, in a certain road. Everyone was waiting for us in that particular perspective. Only to be told, yes, only to be told that no, there are constructions going on in that main stadium.
Yes.
And there was no construction going on. They diverted our route to an unknown route. People took trouble to follow us, but in pain. Why should that happen? Why doesn't the president have the same kind of arrangement? During the hearing of the case between Mama Mbabasi and Yoweri Museveni, the Supreme Court was specific. It said, whatever is granted to the incumbent should also be grantable to the rest of the competitors. I am not surprised that no such laws have passed through Parliament. And that is still a very big omission, because these elections should not have gone on without addressing the concerns of the Supreme Court in that case. For example, in the orders they gave, one was that remove the army from elections. When you relate it to what happened in Kawempe North during the by-election, anything is yet to happen.
Okay. Honorable Kakoza, so far looks so good. What do we need to do to keep at that pace so that we actually, it doesn't get out of hand?
It's just only to seek to campaign in an orderly manner as a agreed program of the Electoral Commission. Because if they say that this is the venue where you want to go, that some people, I'm worried that he was saying that people are waiting for him, waiting for them in the road. Honestly speaking, there are many Ugandans who are not interested in what we are doing. You must be a politician, but others are not politicians, they want to do business. So the government should leave, the security should leave you.
All right.
Yeah, if you have your own liberty to do anything you want, don't also abuse the liberty of the other. So for me, I think the most important thing, it can be sustainable because there is a program drawn. You can see how the arrangement now. Maybe it is in the other side of the country. The vibrant Noob is in Busoga and the president in Namurata. And that's what is going to happen. Mafabi, I think, is where? Is somewhere. I think if we follow that order, that no supporters can meet anywhere, it can reduce even the violence, because now you're free to move in the region because that's the timetable.
Let us now wait for the president who is
going
to, who will soon be going to Bunyoro, whether he will address his audience in Mandela or somewhere else.
Which is
Mandela Stadium.
No, it's like now.
The new stadium, the Bunyoro Stadium.
No, we had primaries in Korolo. We always have them in Mandela.
All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you. And as we try to conclude, I want to give you Honorable Ken Luchamuzi to give us your concluding remark, your parting shot on the show tonight.
The parting shot is an appeal to the people of Bunyoro that you are environmentally in trouble over the oil which is yet to be harvested. The best you can do is to ensure that some 4 members of the kingdom, I mean citizens within Bunyoro, invest their membership in the Conservative Party, which has guaranteed the fight to protect your fundamental human rights in the harvesting of oil so that you don't end in an oil curse.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kakoza, what's going to be your concluding remark?
Yeah, we on steady progress. Our manifesto is clear that where we stopped, the last 2021 up to 2025, I'll give you the book here. We've covered almost 90%, but we need to add more so that all people, all Ugandans should get involved in production, and that's the way we shall have an independent, sustaining economy. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we still lag behind. But the indicators are clear.
Honorable James Kakoza.
That the programs of our manifesto are there. The president is explaining what he's going to do in the next 5 years.
Honorable James Kakoza, Member of Parliament in the East African Legislative Assembly. Thank you. Honorable John Ken Luchamzi. Sometimes we used to say the man back in the day.
My brother, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for you, Ugandans, and I want to thank you for all those of you who have been watching, for the privilege of your company. And I think how I wish we could just read the manifestos of different candidates, listen to them, understand them, look at their record, so that when you go to cast your ballot, you're doing that from an informative position. They are trying to protect the gain. To some of you, the gain could be pain, but depends on how much you know, how much you have looked at the history of each one and their records, and the element of them being true to the country and patriotic to Uganda. Good night, and God bless Uganda.
Thank you.